You're listening to Campfire Tales, a horror podcast written by Daniel Mark. Figure in the Fog. 10th of April, 1952. Hello, diary. We are visiting the Grams again. It's been a long minute since I've seen those candy cane-coloured fences. I'm certain that Grandpa's kept the paint as slick as he last left it. I remember when me and my brother painted it. I put it in quotes because we'd been too small to even reach the top of the fence to paint it. We ended up painting the floor in each other's faces far before we'd done anything to the fence. Grandpa still pretends it was us, though, and every time we come over, he says we painted it so well that it was still there. Obviously, he couldn't lie that smell of fresh paint out of the farm. Oh, and I should mention, I've not been able to even start House Down the Street. 11th of April, 1952. Hello, diary. We're almost at the farm. It's awfully foggy here for some reason. I can barely see where the sunlight is even coming from. It just seems to be somewhat omnipresent, somehow. Oh, and here we are. I can see Grandpa on the farm. I swear I'll see a walking fish by the time he decides to ever sit down. Tiredness may not even be a word in his vocabulary. 11th of April, 1952. I'm on the bed currently, and I'd like to confirm that it was apparently not my grandpa on the farm. He walked out of the front door to greet us immediately when we got down, and even with his speed, you'd not be able to come back and get in that quickly without anyone noticing. I asked if they'd finally decided to hire some new labour at the farm, since, looking back, I had assumed it was Grandpa, but the figure did seem somewhat thinner. They denied it, however, and there was apparently nothing and no one out there in the field at that moment. I could have sworn I saw someone, but I suppose I'm glad that Grandpa has been taking it easier these past few years. Anyhow, since it's too foggy to really be doing anything, I've actually written 4 pages of House Down the Street. 2 of them I've decided to scrap, but hey, it's progress. 12th of April, 1952. The fog is not lifted yet. There's not been any mention of it on any weather reports. I wouldn't really mind, honestly, since I really like the aesthetic of gloomy weather. It's cozy, and I write them into stories a lot. But this fog feels different. Instead of that nice chill you'd feel in the weather, it's strangely sweaty. I know it's weird, but it feels like being assimilated into a thrall of undulating skin. I feel like the fog itself was the flesh of something big, sweaty, and hungry. Damn, Camilo really wasn't kidding. I am getting better at writing horror. I should probably finish The House Down the Street. 13th April, 1952. Everything's getting moist. I can't tell if it's even just my sweat anymore. Grandma can't use the stove since the flame barely even came out and it was all sooty and left a ton of gunk all over the kitchen. I'm almost done writing about the house. It's one of the only things I can do to distract myself from the wetness. God, it's hard writing when you're trying not to get the page all sweaty. 12th of April, 1952. I'm starting to see someone in the fog. It's always hard to see him because my eyeballs are all salty and wet, so I can't exactly tell if he's there, but I see him sometimes. Standing there with skin that floats around as if it were a plastic bag in the wind. There was no wind, however, and no man too, I hope. 13th of April, 1952. I'm starting to lose my sense of time. The fog makes it impossible to tell whether the weather is day or night, and all the clocks are too blurry to read. It all seems to be a dim streak of grey all the time, although, I can't lie, sometimes it feels like the fog retreats, but then approaches again, a bit denser. Grandma is just sitting in her rocking chair now. Her mouth is open far wider than I'd ever seen it. She's hunched over backwards, facing the ceiling. I didn't want to look at her eyes. She's still breathing and, most importantly, sweating, so I know she's alive. Grandpa hasn't left his room for a while now. I'm certain he is alive. I see his shadow bumbling around in there, What's he doing, though? 15th of April, 1952. Camilio has gone missing. That bastard outside took him. He's still too far out there in the fog to see clearly, and he's never once moved except his slight sway in the wind. But I know he took my brother. I see it in his face, that smug fulfillment after finishing a meal. It's satiated. 14th of April, 1952. By tomorrow, he'll be inside the house. I don't know if he walks or floats, but he's been getting closer and closer every day. I can see him out of the window right now, swinging softly like a scarecrow in front of a house. He has no face. His head is a misshapen mess that looks to me as if it were a half-deflated balloon, with its only discernible feature being a tongue. His transparent skin lets me see the foggy recreation of his intestines beneath. It's not real, though, obviously. That thing doesn't need visible intestines. There's a rifle in the shack outside. I can reach it if I don't collapse from the heat and moisture of the fog outside. No one else here seems to want to acknowledge him, so I'll deal with him myself, if I have to. 15th of April, 1952. It's almost time. I'll be going out right after writing this. He's practically 10 feet away from our front door, but if I wait any longer, I know he'll be inside. God, I can only hope that this thing can't actually walk or move. Please, please, God, let that be the case. Just this once. Let him stand still enough that I'll reach the shack. Just this once. I need to know what happened to my brother. I just need to see Camilio again. Even if it's just his digested corpse. At least then I'll know he wasn't being eaten alive like the rest of us. My name is Amelia Stewart, and perhaps these words are my final ones.